Good afternoon, Mr. Franklin. Good afternoon. Let me quickly read your bio and introduce you to and then you begin to
Okay, is the speaker here? Can we have his profile read so he can go ahead? Hello, Mr. Franklin. Can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Because we're about to read out your profile, and then we'll take it from there. Is that okay?
All right. Sure. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a sequel of the Tech Summit. I want to quickly take Mr. Franklin Peters' class, and he's going to be teaching us on the advent of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, job creation and retention. But before he goes on, I would like to introduce him so you know his profile and know his qualifications and seriously understand his ability to be able to deliver on the topic. So like I said earlier,
please reduce volume.
Mr. Franklin Peters is a prominent computer scientist, author, business mentor, and entrepreneur, best known for his exceptional contributions to the world of blockchain technology. He is the founder and CEO of Boundless Nexus Limited, an innovative technology company that specializes in developing cutting-edge solutions to solve real-world problems. Peters is the brain behind Boundless Pay, a revolutionary cryptocurrency wallet that has solved the problem of global remittance. He has gained a reputation as a blockchain expert and has dedicated his career to helping businesses harness the power of blockchain technology. Peters is a fellow of the Institute of Management Specialists and a vice president at the Stakeholders in Blockchain Association of Nigeria. His passion for blockchain technology and his in-depth knowledge of the industry has gained him the nickname Blockchain Oracle. As a prolific speaker and writer, Peters has shared his insights on blockchain technology in various intelligence series, including Vanguard, FinTech Nigeria, and others. He is also a faculty member of the Techidia Institute, where he teaches blockchain technology to aspiring entrepreneurs. Peters is highly respected in the blockchain community for his accuracy in projecting blockchain trends and evolution. He has helped many businesses integrate blockchain technology into their operations and has been recognized as a mentor to several startups. Thank you very much, sir, as he's going to be teaching us today the advent of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, job creation and retention. Sir, you have the floor.
So much for that introduction. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
But we can't see him. Mr. Franklin, we can't see your face.
I'm working on that. Can you see me now?
Not yet.
Oh, I can see him now.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes, I can see him.
So much for the opportunity to be in this session today. Very big to be here. And I'm going to be talking about the advent of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology with regards to job creation and retention. I don't know, how many minutes do I have for this session?
You have at least 40 minutes. Though you can go on as the spirit leads. It's something that entrepreneurs in Africa really want to understand. So as the spirit leads.
The advent of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, focus on creation and retention. So first of all, I would like to start with the advent of artificial intelligence and what it means, to the job. I've been flying around. People have been talking about AI here, AI there. How does it affect people? But let's take it back a little bit about and speak on the job market first of all, right? When it comes to people have different. Give me a minute. Let me. Who say are unemployable.
For one reason, right? Skills, being able to stay updated with the flow of things and what is needed in the job market. Being able to have the available the skills that are needed or necessary to be employed in the job market is one thing that has kept a lot of people from being employed, right? So you go through school, you learn the normal things that are being taught, and then you come out and probably there is no job. So there's been this topic of or this need for people to learn several skills to stay updated outside what you learned from what you were taught in school, because generally 80% of the people who are working today are not doing exactly what they studied in school. So it has been a thing from days back, from years back. Me as a person, as much as I'm doing stuff that are related to computer science, I studied computer science in school. I'm not necessarily on the exact field of study. Most of the things I do, I currently do, are things that I taught myself, understanding the current job market, the current demand of the market. Of course, blockchain was never taught in school, but because I saw that it was something that was needed for in the particular ecosystem or industry that I had interest in, I had to learn by myself and I had to improve my skills to stay relevant in the market. And so it's a thing that affects everybody, right? So I remember when the whole computer stuff, came into play. People were being pushed to go to cyber cafes and computer centers to learn how to type. And there was this cliche that was always being used. If you don't know how to use computers, soon enough, you will be out of business. You will not be able to get jobs. And that sparked a whole revolution, pushing people to either learn how to type, how to fix computers, how to use Mavis Bacon tutor, how to, there were a couple of tools that people were driven to learn. I was privileged to teach a lot of people back in the days as well, software, graphic designs, Excel and all those things. And that was it. People were
Please give him a few minutes while he sorts out his network. He will join us shortly.
Is it his network?
Yes, please. Thank you. While we are waiting for our speaker to sort out his network, let's just quickly talk about what we aim to achieve through this summit. Like earlier said, he sent a message now that he's struggling to connect. Just give him a few minutes, let him be able to sort out his network. But like we earlier said, our summit, our tech summit for this year is simplifying artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. there has been a lot of things surrounding or perception surrounding AI, surrounding blockchain technology. Some are false, some are true, some just cause panic, some just different things based off of fear, based off of knowledge, based off of different reasons why different people give different reasons about what they feel artificial intelligence and blockchain technology is coming to do in our system. So this is why we have our speaker today talking about the advent of it, job creation, retention. So let's just quickly, he's back now. Let's just quickly add him back to the
okay. All right. Sorry. I don't know why my network went off. Can you hear me now? Is it clearer now?
Yes, it is.
All right. So I don't know where you stopped hearing me. I just noticed that my Zoom closed automatically. So, but I'm going to try to recap most of the things I said. So I remember back in the days, I usually had these training sessions when I was in school, where I was teaching people about the future of the internet. I was trying to get people to understand that you don't necessarily need to, solely depend on what you studied in school or what you're studying in school, because the future, would be determined a lot by the internet. And I was given like a time frame then. I was saying that in the next 10 years, and that was the knowledge I had. That was what I believed. I thought that maybe in the next 10 years, everybody's job will be displaced by internet, by data-driven businesses, by computer. And if you don't know how to use, computer, you would. And to a very good extent, that's the reality of things. But of course, there are lots of jobs that people are still able to do that don't necessarily depend heavily on the internet. And those are skills that requires manual labor. But I'm going to get there. So that's exactly what is playing out now with regards to artificial intelligence. So first, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is more like an advanced version of what the computer has always been to us. But this time around, it's no longer just garbage in, garbage out. Computers were garbage in, garbage out, right? Whatever you feed into the computer is what you get back. But when it comes to AI, the AI is artificial intelligence is a system or a tool that is powered by the computer, powered by the internet, but is able to make sense of whatever data you give to it based on a super database. So it's no longer just what you feed into it. Before, like when you say garbage in, garbage out, of course, when you type hello on your Microsoft Word, you get a feedback of hello, right? It doesn't say any other thing outside hello. If you say hello, how are you? That's what you see on your screen as your garbage out, right? So using the output systems. But right now, with tools like ChatGPT, if you say hello, it can reply you with hi, I'm fine, how are you? You can literally write a whole letter with just one sentence, construct a letter for me instructing Mr. A to do XYZ, and it would give you a professional letter. And that is just the difference between normal artificial intelligence and the computer. And that means that a lot of jobs are probably at risk of being displaced over time. But then the other day I saw on social media, somebody posted a picture, a meme of a building site, a construction site that was built up onto the roof level, and there was a signpost by the side of the building saying, at this point, the AI should complete this building to the roofing stage. And it may sound funny, but AI cannot do that. Human beings are still required to be able to get the building up onto the roofing stage. And that's just to explain to you that no matter how intelligent computers become, there are some certain skills, both on the physical aspect and even in the engineering aspect, that AI cannot replace. I'll talk a little as well about blockchain and crypto. I remember when I got into the blockchain industry, I also had that mentality. As with every other person, like whenever there's a new advent of technology, there's this euphoria and rush and belief that this is going to become the future and it's going to displace jobs. I mean, people would become 100% irrelevant, when this comes into full play. But the truth is that there are lots of other opportunities across, even within the AI ecosystem, even within the blockchain ecosystem. For me, I remember back in the days also, I was thinking that maybe in the next 5 years, because I got into blockchain 2014, 2015. And that's nearly 10 years ago, or let's say 8 years ago. And I was thinking that 5 years later, the whole government and the whole world would jump onto this new system of finance that would displace banks and displace, the traditional ways of transacting money. 5 years later, it's not yet the same, right? So I feel like the idea of technologies, these man-made technologies displacing real jobs and real activities performed by human beings is a mirage to a good extent. As a scientist and as someone who have been there, who have educated people in this line, and someone who have seen things work in a certain direction, I've come to realize that that's really not the entire truth. But where the truth lies is that no matter how and what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, and no matter how you feel that you've gotten, very comfortable with what you're doing, there is always this need for you to keep updating yourself, technically, intellectually, and otherwise. Always keep updating yourself, because that's what will keep you relevant to a great extent. That's what will make you keep making money for yourself, right? Of course, I was in a conference last month in Nigeria, and one of the topics that came up, right, was how ChatGPT is displacing people. And we had a series of persons in the panel. One was a lawyer. The other was what else? Myself, I was in the audience, but of course I contributed to that topic. And no matter how good ChatGPT can construct messages to even sound professional, it can't replace the need for a legal practitioner who understands law to a great extent in a certain jurisdiction. It cannot replace the person, because ChatGPT can only develop, like I said earlier, based on the context of the initial data you provide to it. It can only develop it to a great extent, but it cannot reason based on the unique circumstances that are happening in real life that brought about that particular case, right? It will take a human being that has emotions, that have understanding, that does his due diligence to be able to preside over such matter, right? Same applies to, I understand that recently a lot of people have lost their job. Facebook have, sacked thousands of their staff. Amazon has done the same. Yeah, you can blame it on ChatGPT or AI, right? But of course, there are still some of the people who are retained on those jobs. Why were they retained, right? So if ChatGPT or AI or blockchain is the reason why everybody is being sacked, then everybody should be sacked. Let the CEOs of those companies, just use the AI to do the whole work, right? So for the fact that there are human beings that are still retained on those jobs, it means that there is still need for the human factor. So the difference between that person that was sacked, that was laid off, and the person who was retained is the fact that the person who was retained kept himself updated to be able to make use of the tool to make use of the AI tool, make use of the blockchain, make use of all those things. They can either be acting as an engineer, fixing some of those tools. In AI right now, there's something called prompt engineering. So prompt, 1 minute. Sorry. Prompt engineering is a skill that is very much in vogue right now. With prompt engineering, people learn how to instruct these AIs in order to get the best feedback from the AI, right? A normal individual who does not know how to prompt engineer may not know what exact keywords to feed the AI in order to get the desired results, right? So there is need for a human being. So some people are now going into development of tools that prompt engineers would make use of. Some people are, developing platforms or languages that AIs understand. Some other people are learning how to implement those skills. Some other persons are learning how to teach people, right, those things. Again, in such environments, you can displace a lawyer who, who would litigate or mitigate between situations, right? You can't displace an operations manager who will be in the field doing the work. You can't displace a growth manager. You can't use AI to attract real users to your platform. Can you still hear me? Yeah. All right. So yeah, awesome. So you can use AI to displace a chief operations officer. You can use AI to displace to a good extent. You can use it to replace maybe your graphics team, but AI can only. But then you may need to prompt engineer properly to be able to get the designs you want, right? So there has to be a human being. So maybe your graphic design team should now start learning how to design using AI. There has to be a human being that will make the AI to create those images. So these are the things that would determine to a good extent how people get displaced, in their workplaces, and how new people would be employed to take over from those jobs. So when it comes to, just like the topic says, the advent of artificial intelligence, and blockchain, I remember, I think, part of what I was saying before my network went off is that AI is not a today thing. It's not a today thing. Artificial intelligence has been there for a long period of time. The fact that we had calculators, it was AI, it was artificial intelligence. The only thing is that it got more intelligent, it got more sophisticated. But yeah, when calculator was the biggest invention, we still had mathematicians. Today, mathematicians are still very valid. You understand? The fact that we now had computers did not displace, most of the works. The only thing is that now, unlike, I was in a podcast yesterday and I was talking about, my experience, my first banking experience. I remember I was somewhere around 11, 12 when my mom took me to bank. There was something I did and I made some money. And my mom wanted to open a bank account for me. So she took me to the bank to open a bank account. And they said I wasn't of age to own a bank account. So she had to open an account for herself with her name. And then she put the money in that account on my behalf. And I think it wasn't long before, I had to open my own account and move the money there. So, but today, even a kid of 12 years old can open a bank account, and you don't even need to go to the bank to do to open the account, right? So what has happened is that the processes and the patterns, that things were being done in banks have just changed, right? So most of the people who refuse to upgrade themselves became irrelevant to the new dispensation of how banking works. You understand? There are lots of, if you walk into a bank today, you may not see cashiers and people all over the place. There is still need for that, but not as much as before, right? But banks now have more, developers and tech-inclined people as their staff, rather than, cashiers and stuffs. So if the cashier that was behind the counter was able to improve himself or herself, to learn how to use tools, software tools, to perform some of those transactions, the person will still remain relevant, right? But the ones that refused to upgrade themselves became irrelevant. So basically, I'm rounding off. Maybe we can take the conversation to a different direction. Maybe you can ask me questions. The job ecosystem, depends. In fact, just like energy cannot neither be created nor destroyed. There will always be need for job. There will always be this vacuum, right, that needs to be filled by human beings, no matter the technology that is in vogue. Whether it's blockchain, it's AI, it's whatever, human beings have to pilot those things. Human beings have to manage them. Human beings have to fix them. Human beings have to teach other human beings. So there's always an opportunity, a vacuum that has to be filled by human beings, right? So when people lose their jobs, it doesn't mean that those jobs have been entirely replaced by AI. It means that people who are updated enough to manage it with a higher tool are now being employed, right? So the other aspect of our topic says job creation and retention. I think I've talked about the retention, and the job creation aspect is what I just talked about, right? So for any new development, any new technology that is in vogue, there is need for human beings to manage, to fix, to correct, to teach, right? So that is where the job creation comes. So being able to take like a couple of steps backward and ask yourself, what is in this technology for me? What is in AI for me? What is in blockchain for me, right? That's what will make you relevant. If you're able to ask yourself that question, then you'll start early enough to prepare yourself and to add new skills to your portfolio that would keep you relevant in the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. I learned a lot from your class, your session. And what I can really say is, first of all, is the mindset. The mindset that people have towards AI and blockchain is what is limiting them. If you just believe that it's going to remove you from your job, it's definitely going to remove you from your job, because you are what you think you are. That's the thing. And when it comes to job creation and retention, AI is just helping with labor costs, employment costs, labor costs. That does not mean that there would not be jobs. In fact, there will be more jobs. But the thing is, if you have a lazy attitude towards life, a lazy mindset, you will not be able to get those jobs. It's as simple as that. It's like the way, like you said, the way we started people, if now you cannot operate a system, you really cannot work. Because now there is no job now that, even if you cannot operate a system, you cannot operate, even be able to use your phone, like you'll be able to use a system, you are unemployable. So that is where we are going to now. So if you don't really have small idea of AI, of blockchain, you become unemployable. It is not like the jobs are not there. It's just that you are outdated. It's just that you don't know what to actually do when certain applications come in. There will always be jobs. And like the system, like you said, the CPU, the laptop did not remove anybody from jobs. It just helps enhance jobs. And this is what AI and blockchain is here to do. So if you are an entrepreneur and you are not thinking, you have will I say a lackadaisical mindset, a low self-esteem mindset, an idea, a mindset that does not want to develop, that does not want to see how your business would move forward with AI, then give it like 2-3 years. Now I'm not a tech person, but it's left to you with the presumptions and the way you might fade out. Maybe 2-3 years you might be out of business. But then my question I would want to ask is, because we have a large crowd, as an entrepreneur, how do you sit down and analyze your business to know which parts of blockchain, like when it comes to employment now, who do I want to remove? Who do I want to select? How do you sit down on your own? Because we have, like you said, it's a batch of startups. And if it's AI and blockchain is helping reduce cost, it's something most people go into it. But now most people might just hire and fire without even taking a step back to really think about what they need or what they don't need. So what are you suggesting in that kind of situation?
All right. So as an entrepreneur who I'm running a couple of businesses, I've been in that situation where I had to let go of some staff because there are improvements in technology that has made it possible for us to not need them, right? And I've also seen a situation where an existing staff gets to be upgraded or into doing multiple things in an easier way, and the person gets paid more because the person everything has to do with the ability of your existing staff to stay updated and stay relevant, right? One of the things I do in my company is, seek out updated ways of doing some certain things. I remember the first set of graphic designers I had were making use of CorelDRAW, right? And that was back in the years. And then there's this new platform that came out. I think it was Adobe. Adobe came out, and that designer refused. That was as far back as 2020. He refused to upgrade himself. There was nothing I did not do to encourage him to learn Adobe Photoshop. I don't know, he was too lazy to learn it. So I had to sack him. But doesn't mean that I didn't employ a new person. No, I had to employ another person. And the new person I employed, was already using Adobe. So I had to employ a new person. So then I've also seen a situation where that same person that was making use of Adobe Photoshop, over time, he learned how to use a tool called Figma. Now, Figma is a design tool that helps you to design your like, if you're going to build a mobile app, then you can use Figma to build a mock-up version of that mobile app. So you can already see what the app would look like, how it will function, your UI, UX, everything within that zone can be done with Figma. And this same staff improved while he was still on the job. One day he told me, "Boss, I now know how to use Figma." So I tried him out a couple of times. I saw he was good with that. Soon enough, we got to a stage where I needed to employ an additional person that would be working on our UI, UX. But I didn't look outside. So instead of employing a new person, I upgraded this guy that already now knows how to use Figma into becoming our UI, UX developer. And he started getting higher pays. And then I now employed another person as a graphic designer. Do you understand? So if you are upgrading yourself in your workplace, your employers know, they see, you understand? And, I've seen, like, most people, I remember, like, my mom was in this, is still in the civil service. I remember some of those years, after a couple of years, she would say that her CVs have improved, and that we should be praying that she, for promotion for her. It was a prayer point. And then after some time, she'll come back home and she'll be rejoicing that she has been promoted. So she was promoted back in the years from secretarial job into becoming a typist, right? From becoming a typist into becoming an executive, into an executive office. And then she did her PhD, she got upgraded, and she kept improving. These days, startups, I don't see these things happen. Most people feel so relaxed with a particular role. In 5 years, you are still a graphic designer. In 5 years, you are still... So people are not improving both their skills and their CVs, and they are not actively seeking to be promoted like it is being done in the civil service. It's still the same thing. You understand? So if you actively improve your skills and your CV, right, and your employer is aware that you are, you are physically improving with what you are doing, he would definitely, when there is need for that particular thing, in that company, you will definitely be upgraded. Another thing is being intentional as a staff, right? And looking out for low-hanging fruits with regards to value that you can bring to your workplace. Okay, so you know that maybe this company is lacking XYZ, and very soon they are going to need this XYZ. You as an internal staff is a privilege for you to know, to study, to understand that this is a need in this company, and start learning those skills so that when the time comes, your company will definitely consider you first before looking outside, because you already understand the culture of that company, you understand how they operate, right? So it's easier for them to upgrade you than employing a new person. You understand? So these are the things. So for me, one of the things I would advise, startups, the founders or company founders, is to, always be on the tail of your team members, of your staff, to upgrade themselves. Now, once in a while, we do have these training sessions in my company. Sometimes I even pay for courses for some of my staff. I remember buying some, courses for some of my staff. Some of them take blockchain courses, get certified, just because I know that if they get better, my company will get better. I don't have to take the whole credit. You understand? If my team is better, my company will be better. You understand? So most of them are now learning. My CTO is currently in India studying AI. He's learning AI as a tool to improve software development. So by the time he's done with that course, there's no way our product will not improve, because now we are making use of AI, data-driven activities, that would help our users to understand how they spend and how they make use of their funds. You understand? So these are some of the things that founders and CEOs should pay attention to, and then staff as well should personally be intentional about improving themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If there's one thing we can take from your session today, is endeavor, endeavor, endeavor. I said that 3 times, to improve on what you know. Everything you know today, always try to know more. Don't be static with what you learn. Don't be obsolete. Don't just be there and just be lackadaisical about what you've learned. Like, thank you so much. It's really been interesting, and people that will be able to catch the replay will be able to learn few things and understand that fear. Like, if you, a whole tech expert, can say that fear is far-fetched, that fear of I will not have any job is far-fetched, then people really begin to understand, okay, let us now see how we can embrace this thing instead of being scared of this thing. Yes.
Exactly. Let me add to
go.
that. Like I said in the beginning, like I said in the beginning, I know maybe a couple of persons may get it confused, right? When I said that, yes, in the beginning, when I got into this whole internet space, right, they were saying that I used to even teach people that in the next 5 years, there will be no job anywhere if you're not a tech person, if you're not into computer. But today, that's not the entire truth. You understand? That's not the entire truth. There are still jobs. The question is, you as a person, how are you improving yourself to stay relevant? Because the job would always be there. These tools, this AI, this blockchain still needs people that will run them. So there will still be job. You understand? So outside it, there will still be job. You can still go into manual labor. There are other things you can do. But the question is, what's your passion? What's your desire? How do you want to be retrogressive? Like, do you want to be stagnant, or do you want to be progressive? So rather than saying that there will be no job, there will be jobs, but you now, which job do you want to be doing? Do you want to be improving with technology, with time, or do you want to stay stagnant? For those who want to be improving with technology, right, is your job to keep learning, keep improving yourself, so that even though the job ecosystem changes hands, you will still be relevant at the forefront, because those at the forefront are the ones that will make most of the money. You understand? So you stay relevant and be at the forefront of making most of the money. You'll be the one, at the hottest zone, and the hottest zone is where the most money is. So, for instance, again, like I said before, for those who are into my industry, blockchain, right? We're into finance, right? Banks have yet improved. Most banks are still, 90% of the global banks are still doing the whole fiat, we'll call it Web 2 in our industry, kind of financing, where they are not depending on blockchain. But that doesn't mean that maybe in the next 5 years, right, blockchain will not probably become the major tool for sending money globally. You understand? So anybody that refuses to learn blockchain or understand how it functions, in the next 5 years, you may still have a job, but in an obsolete industry, in an obsolete business where there is no much traffic. So most of the people that will keep making money or stay relevant are those who might have upgraded their skills with blockchain, right? Those are the people that will now be driving the market. So it's now a personal choice. You have to decide, okay, yes, I'm not literally going to be out of job, but am I going to be making most of the money? Am I going to be at the forefront of innovation? Am I going to be in demand? Like, are people going to be coming for me? Like, or am I going to be the one chasing after things? So it's a personal thing. You improve yourself, you try to learn new skills so that you stay relevant and not be obsolete.
Wow, that was like a light bulb moment for me. It was more like it just will not fade out fast like that. But the thing is, you decide how you want to be seen. You decide how you want to position yourself in terms of work, in terms of finances, in terms of structure. Would you use AI or still decide to do what you are doing now and then gradually fade out? So it might take time even before you fade out totally, but you will start getting the heat of that recession that they're always screaming about. This is how it starts when you don't want to upgrade. Wow, that's wonderful. I don't know if there are other questions. If there is a question, I'm not seeing any question. I would love to release you. I want to say thank you very much for teaching us this. Hopefully we would have be able to meet some other time to be able to do something like this, because like we earlier said, our tech summit is an avenue where we teach entrepreneurs how to be able to advance in technology, because most times people don't really understand these things. We might presume that they do know it, but not all of us are aware. So let's build up and make Africa a better place. And I say thank you so much for being part of it, because it means you have Africa at heart, and Africa thanks you. Thank you so much, Mr. Peters. Thank you very much. And with that, I will say good night, everyone, and thank you for joining. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.